The main character in this story is a young man named Ren. He was kicked out of his hero team because his only power was to control animals. Beast tamers make special heart-to-heart contracts with different kinds of animals to use their powers. Even though beast tamers aren't good in battle, Ren always tried his best in his support role and wanted to earn his teammates' trust. But out of nowhere, they kicked him out, saying he was useless. At first, Ren thought they were joking. But the cold looks from Arios, Agus, Lin, and Mina told him they meant it. Their harsh words shocked him. They called him a burden. Just because he couldn't hurt enemies directly and sometimes made things harder for the team, everyone saw him as useless. His hands shook, his face went pale, and he slowly took off his cloak as they laughed at him. Ren sat alone, feeling down and thinking about everything that happened. People had always looked down on him during missions because he was, just, a beast tamer. He didn't know what to do next. Then, out of nowhere, a group of kids ran up to him, asking about his job as a hero. Ren didn't know how to answer, but when he saw how excited they were, he smiled and used his powers to call an eagle, showing them what he could do. Later, Ren learned that the hero group didn't have a great reputation around there. In fact, regular people didn't respect them much. But the kids still liked Ren a lot because he played with them and inspired them. They even said they wanted to be adventurers one day to earn good money. When Ren heard the word, adventurers, he suddenly had an idea. Adventurers take on jobs and get paid for completing them. Right away, he rushed to the Adventurers Guild. There, he met a receptionist named Natalie. She was about to explain the adventurer test when Ren asked her to explain more about adventurers in general. Ariel's team had always looked down on adventurers, so Ren didn't know much about them. Seeing that he was serious, Natalie was surprised but started explaining everything in detail. Then she told him about the adventurer test. But when she heard he was a beast tamer, she looked worried and said she wasn't sure he could pass the test alone. Her words hurt, just like his old teammates had. Still, Ren didn't give up. He kept his spirits up and took the first test. Defeat 10 goblins and gather 20 bundles of herbs. Using his beast taming skills, he quickly found the goblins and finished the F-rank mission. Suddenly, he heard someone scream. Ren rushed over and saw a girl being attacked by an assassin tiger. His small blade barely scratched the beast. While the tiger focused on him, he told the girl to run. Ren had no animals nearby to help, and there were no weapons around. Then, a girl suddenly appeared behind the tiger. She jumped high into the air and hit the tiger's back with incredible strength, badly injuring it. After beating the tiger in one blow, she shyly sat on its back. This pink-haired girl gave off a noble vibe. Her name was Kanat. Looking at her closely, Ren realized she was from the Spirit Cat clan, one of the strongest and rarest clans. But then she collapsed. Ren rushed to catch her, worried she was hurt. As he leaned closer, he realized something surprising. She wasn't injured, just really hungry. Ren gave her some of his food. As he watched her eat, he couldn't believe what he was seeing. The Spirit Cat clan was supposed to be nearly extinct. Kanat said she hadn't eaten in days. Once she was full, she started to introduce herself. Ren introduced himself too, but Kanat quickly corrected him, telling him to just call her by her name. No, miss, or anything formal. Ren was curious why she was in the forest. Kanat said she left her quiet mountain life because she got bored and wanted to go on an adventure. She said meeting Ren felt like fate. Before anything else, she had already asked him to tell her his story. Ren didn't know why, but talking about his past always made him uneasy. Still, he was able to tell Kanat everything. When she heard how he was kicked out of the hero group, Kanat got really mad for him. Ren was thankful that she understood. Even though Kanat was angry at the people who rejected him, since Ren didn't care, she decided to let it go too. Ren felt a little awkward but gently patted her head to thank her, which she surprisingly liked. He didn't even mean to do it, it was just a reflex, but since she didn't mind, he left it at that. Then Kanat snapped back to the moment and explained something clearly. Ren wasn't weak at all, he was actually really strong, especially with his beast-taming skills. It felt like he had already commanded her the moment they met, because she felt a strange spark, like electricity. She said that if he could command her, maybe he could control her whole Spirit Cat clan, something only a few people in the world could do. But Ren wasn't focused on commanding a powerful clan, he just wanted to get closer to Canet. Then, he bit his finger to draw a little blood so they could form a contract. For the contract to work, Canet had to say her name of her own free will. If she didn't, the contract wouldn't happen. Unexpectedly, Canet said her name without hesitation, as if she was happy to make a contract with Ren. He was thrilled. A red circle appeared on her hand, showing the contract was complete. They shook hands to seal it. Who would have thought that a beast tamer like Ren, who had just lost his team and his purpose, could form a bond with one of the strongest clans, and such a cute one too. But before heading back to Fire City, they still had to finish the adventurer's mission. Later, when Ren made a quick contract with a rabbit, Canet got a little jealous. Still, she got distracted by how cute the fluffy rabbits were. Then, when Ren made even more temporary rabbit contracts to help him harvest, Canet got more jealous, feeling like his timing was a little too perfect. Ren, being clueless, didn't notice anything, which annoyed Canet even more. In no time, Ren finished the task and passed the test. Natalie gave him an F-rank adventurer card and a reward of 50 copper coins. She told him that if he ranked up, the rewards would be even better. Since Ren completed it so fast, she was sure he'd get promoted soon. After getting paid, Ren walked over to Canet and said he'd start taking requests now. She happily agreed and cheered him on. Just then, a rude guy came over. He noticed Canet was from the rare spirit cat clan and got really interested in her. She gave him a cold reply, which only made him more excited. He tried to invite her for a drink, then insulted Ren right in front of her. Canet's eyes narrowed when the guy dared to mention the handsome guy she had just met. Without holding back, she puffed up her fur and scolded him, loudly declaring that Ren was her master. The guy looked shocked, then laughed. He didn't believe someone could control a spirit cat, one of the strongest clans. Seeing her hype up Ren as some amazing beast tamer made the guy angry. So, he challenged Ren and even tried to use Canet as a prize for the fight. Even though people said a lot of things about Ren, and he could have walked away from the fight, this thug would probably still bother Canet later. So, Ren decided to go for it, win or lose. But just a few seconds into the fight, he beat the thug easily, not even sure how it happened. The other guy was holding his arm and yelling in pain. Natalie heard the noise and quickly ran outside. She saw it was the same guy who'd been causing trouble for the guild recently. She apologized to Ren for his behavior and said the guild was thinking about taking away his adventurer status. But before she could finish, the thug grabbed her skirt. So, Natalie taught him a serious lesson. After that, Natalie's attitude changed completely. She suddenly asked Ren why, during the adventurer's test, he had made a contract with one of the strongest clans. Her intense questioning freaked both of them out, and they apologized quickly. Realizing she went too far, Natalie said sorry for joking too much and left to take care of other things. Ren started wondering how he had been able to beat the thug so easily. So Canet explained it was because he made a contract with one of the strongest clans, just like her. That gave him a power boost equal to the Spirit Cat clan. Ren was surprised, especially since no one in his hometown had ever done something like that. Canet was really happy that he stood up to protect her earlier, and it made Ren blush so hard he couldn't speak. Then they set off to do their assigned mission. Canet thought adventurers would be doing things like swinging giant swords or saving princesses, but all they had to do was collect herbs. Ren explained that since he was only an F-rank adventurer, the lowest level, he could only take on small jobs. After hearing that, Canet got more motivated and tried to help him gather the herbs. But it turned out the rabbits Ren had temporarily contracted had already finished the job. Canet got confused, saying they must have cheated. She felt upset that even though she was Ren's familiar, she wasn't able to help him. Just then, they heard shouting in the distance and ran toward the noise. They found a group of large, rough-looking people surrounding and bullying an old man. Canet recognized them as the Black Fang Bandits, a group of over 100 known for being cruel and evil. They were dangerous, so Canet asked Ren if they should go get help. But Ren said there was no time, they had to act now. Seeing how brave he was made Canet proud. Ren told her to protect the old man while he took on the rest. As soon as he said that, they rushed in like the wind and knocked everyone out. As the fight ended, Kanat started thinking about Ren and felt worried. She wondered, now that he had a contract with her, one of the strongest spirit cats, would that power hurt him? Shouldn't she be the one fighting in front instead? But Ren always stepped up to protect her. Every time she saw him in battle, she couldn't take her eyes off him. Her heart started to race. After the fight, Ren noticed her face was bright red. She quickly changed the subject to cover it up. The old man came over to thank them both. Ren asked why a merchant like him didn't have any guards. The old man said he hired one, but the guy ran away as soon as trouble showed up. Even though they had saved him, the old man warned Ren that the Black Fangs would come back for revenge. He told Ren to be careful. Ren surprised everyone when, instead of getting scared and running away, he said he wanted to go straight to the gang's hideout and catch them all. He knew the gang was violent and would get revenge if they weren't stopped. If that happened, the merchants in town would end up as victims. Ren was able to find the gang's base thanks to a little squirrel. At the same time, Kanat felt disappointed in herself. Even though she was his familiar, she hadn't been able to help at all. But after saying that, she quickly became hopeful again and asked Ren about his plan. Ren explained that he would make a temporary contract with a Count B. Its venom could paralyze people, which he would use to stop the guards. Kanat was surprised since bees are insects, how could Ren control one? Ren explained that back in his hometown, he had learned insect taming. It's a type of beast taming, just focused on insects. Kanat was amazed by Ren's talent. Every time he did something, it was impressive. Then Ren asked Kanat to go back to town and bring reinforcements. She was shocked again, because this was the first time she had been given an important job to help him. Still, she happily agreed to bring help from the Night Squadron, a group that protects towns and cities, run by the government. Right after Kanat left, the Count Bees gathered, and Ren started using the temporary contract to control them. Meanwhile, Lin and Mina's group were running for their lives from the bandits. They just wanted to make a little money before exploring the Lost Forest. They had taken on a job they couldn't back out of. If they'd known it would go this badly, they would have rather visited Arios and Agus instead. Lin was angry and blamed the beast tamer who ran off before they did. He had said he was only a beast tamer and wasn't made for fighting. She brought up Ren, saying that even if he seemed useless, he still knew how to fight and could control many animals at once. The beast tamer was shocked. Normal beast tamers couldn't control even 2 animals at once without getting overwhelmed. 10 was impossible. Yet Lin said Ren could command dozens without breaking a sweat. Still, part of her doubted it. In the end, Lin decided to blame the failed mission on Ren to protect the hero team's image. She threatened the beast tamer, and he ran away in fear. Even though she wasn't sure, Mina thought the man they heard about sounded a lot like Ren. But Lin didn't want to believe Ren had special talents. Back at the hideout, the bandits had already been paralyzed by the Count Bees. Kanat returned with a group to help, but they were just regular adventurers like Ren, not the Night Squadron. They were shocked that Ren had the courage to face the entire Black Fang gang. Everything was going well, until a loud roar came from behind a door. It was the Demon Lizard King, a dangerous beast as strong as a rank C monster, which the bandits had tamed earlier. It went wild, swinging its tail and tossing people around. Ren jumped up and punched it. Then Kanat landed a hit on its jaw. Ren told everyone to get out while he and Kanat stayed to fight. In that moment, Ren thought back to when he was with Ariel's group. They must have thought he was useless. But now, he had changed. And he had Kanat fighting by his side. Outside, the others were worried and prayed for their safety. Thankfully, both of them came out unharmed and stood in front of everyone. It was clear now, Ren had finally earned the respect of everyone, even after being kicked out of the hero team for being useless. More than anything, just being with Kanat made Ren feel like he could do anything. Things really do change when a girl is involved. After many days of sleeping outside, they finally rented a room. Kanat looked happy with the comfy bed, but Ren was shocked because the staff had given them one room to share. From the start, he wanted them to have separate rooms. He didn't mean one room with 2 beds, especially not with this catgirl. So, Ren offered to sleep outside and give the room to her, which surprised Kanat. She pulled him back, saying they had already rented the room for a full week. Ren tried to explain that boys and girls shouldn't sleep in the same room. At first, Kanat didn't see the problem and said she was fine sharing with him. But then her face turned red and she nervously added that it would be okay as long as he didn't try anything weird. Ren gave her a little talk about how the world works, warning her not to trust people so easily, not even him, since they barely knew each other. After he finished, Kanat said she didn't trust just anyone. But she felt different about Ren. She already saw him as a teammate the moment they met. Her words made Ren feel a little shy, and he smiled. In the end, he agreed not to sleep outside anymore. That night, while Ren was sleeping, Kanat watched him. In her heart, she thought he really was a good guy. In the past, she only met people who tried to use her, for money or fame. Since Kanat was a rare spirit cat, people were always trying to catch her. But Ren was different. He was just surprised by her and had no hidden motives. He helped her just to be kind. He treated her like a normal girl, and that made her happy. She also knew Ren had been hurt after being kicked out of his old team, and she really wanted to help heal that pain. Even though he acted fine on the outside, she believed the pain was still there deep down. A week had gone by since they met. They had already completed some jobs, and Ren had been promoted to an E-rank adventurer. That day, they heard from Natalie about a dangerous guy guarding Stain Bridge. He was a thug who always started fights with people trying to cross. Thankfully, no one had died, but fewer people were using the bridge because of him. Natalie tried to convince Ren to take the job. The best part, there was no rank limit, and the reward was 5 gold coins. Ren was shocked by the high reward and quickly accepted the mission. Later, they went to Stain Bridge, which was the only road connecting Horizon City in the center of the continent to the southern part. Kanat was amazed by the pretty views and curious about what kind of person this gatekeeper was. Ren was curious too. Since there were no deaths, you'd expect the victims to speak up, but no one said anything after being beaten. That meant they had no real info on the gatekeeper. Because they didn't know who they were facing, Ren kept reminding himself to stay alert. Just then, Kanat spotted something flying in the sky. Looking closely, it turned out to be a rare dragon clan member. And not just anyone, it was a super cute dragon girl. Her name was Tanya, and she was part of the dragon clan. When she heard someone call her a gatekeeper, she didn't like it. She acted like someone important. Tanya was proud of herself. She had been trained from a young age. In the dragon clan, once you turn 15, you go out to explore and become stronger. Tanya wanted to fight strong people, so she was excited to take them on. Standing in front of her were a top adventurer and a spirit cat clan member, which really got her interested. Kanat realized there was no other option. They had to fight a dragon from one of the strongest clans. She told Ren to give it everything he had, since she was also from a powerful clan. So they both agreed to take on Tanya. Right away, Tanya rushed in and sent Ren flying with her first move. Then she breathed fire at Kanat. Kanat didn't dodge in time, so her cat tail, something she was really proud of, got burned. Angry now, Kanat got excited to fight back and teach Tanya a lesson. The two clashed hard, while Ren watched, amazed by how strong they both were. Ren jumped in to help Kanat, but Tanya stopped him and grabbed both of them, spinning them around like bugs. She then used her strongest move, blasting them with a huge wave of fire. Luckily, they worked together just in time to land safely and dodge the flames. After that intense battle, Ren understood why she was part of such a powerful clan. So he switched to his beast tamer style. He asked Kanat to hold her off while he made a move. The loyal cat agreed and started punching Tanya like a wild tiger. Meanwhile, Ren focused and remembered an eagle from earlier in the fight. He quickly formed a temporary contract with the bird to call more of its kind. Soon, Ren came back with a group of eagles he had just summoned. The eagles flew in and started pecking Tanya. While they didn't do much damage, she suddenly froze. These birds, called Peter birds, had bright colors that showed they were poisonous. With that much poison, even a dragon clan member would be paralyzed for a bit. Surprisingly, Tanya gave up the fight without arguing, shocking both Ren and Kanat. Kanat was so happy she hugged Ren tightly. Ren walked over and invited Tanya to join them. Tanya gave a smug smile, thinking they were trying to sell her off. But Ren just wanted to talk to her nicely. Tanya replied that she didn't like that, but Ren didn't get mad. Instead, He smiled kindly, which made Tanya blush a little. Just when she started to feel touched, she felt a cold glare from Kanat next to her. That startled her. Kanat warned the dragon not to mess with Ren again or she'd get punished like last time. Back at the guild, Natalie was shocked to hear that Ren had already gotten rid of the gatekeeper. She thanked him and was also surprised by a strange red guest nearby. When she saw the horns and tail, she guessed it was a dragon clan member. But Ren quickly jumped in and said she was just a friend he met on the mission. Tanya flipped her hair, ready to introduce herself in a fancy way, but they quickly muzzled her and dragged her away. On the road, Ren was saying something when Tanya suddenly disappeared. She vanished because she always challenged strong people to one-on-one fights. She kept trying to show off who she was, making Ren and Kanat so tired they almost passed out. After they told her to stop, Tanya looked embarrassed. Ren told her to leave the city for now, since they couldn't let people know who the gatekeeper was. If she promised not to do it again, he'd let her go. Then Kanat remembered why no one before had spread Tanya's identity. It was simple, they were too embarrassed after being beaten by a girl. According to the Dragon Clan's rules, Tanya now had to go train again. But instead, she chose to go with Ren and Kanat because training with them would be easier. After that, she hugged Ren's neck and told him she liked him, which made Kanat's fur puff up in jealousy. On top of that, Tanya even asked Ren to form a contract with her. Even Ren didn't expect that he would end up making a contract not just with the Spirit Cat clan, but also with the Dragon clan. After the contract was made, a red mark appeared on Tanya's hand. Now she understood what it felt like to be given orders. It made her feel like she was always connected to Ren. As for Ren, he felt like he had used up all his luck in one go. Meanwhile, Ariel's group was having a hard time. They spent a week struggling through the forest and still found nothing. Then Arios had an idea, to lure Ren back to help the group. After they cleared the lost forest, they planned to dump him again. Kanat and Tanya were fighting over who got to sleep on the bed. Ren, on the other hand, was just lying on the floor, fast asleep, not caring about anything. Eventually, Tanya officially joined Ren's team. Their next job was to get rid of slimes. Slimes were monsters that most adventurers ignored, so they kept multiplying and ended up damaging farms. Kanat didn't like slimes either. Whenever she punched one, the slime would splatter all over her hands and body. Tanya confidently said she'd burn them all with her fireballs. Hearing this, Kanat looked at Tanya with admiration. Finally, someone was willing to take on the messy job. Ren felt relieved seeing them get along because he was worried they'd clash. But after searching for a while, they still hadn't found any slimes. So Ren decided to use a beast tamer skill called assimilation. He sent part of his soul into a bird so he could control it and search from the sky. Kanat and Tanya were shocked, staring with their mouths wide open. They didn't know Ren could do something like that. He told them to watch over his body while he used the bird to search. A little while later, he found the slime nest and brought them to it. Kanat wanted to wipe them out quickly, but Tanya wanted Ren to practice using magic. When they asked if he could use fireball magic, Ren said he had practiced it along with basic healing magic. Tanya encouraged him to try it on the slimes. Ren said he wasn't sure his power was strong enough to handle that many, but he still gave it a shot. He focused hard and cast a fireball. To everyone's surprise, the blast was way more powerful than expected. It wiped out all the slimes at once. Tanya explained it was because of his contract with the Dragon Clan, her clan. Dragon Clan magic was known to be the second strongest among all clans. So now, Ren had that power inside him too. Ren felt dizzy hearing that. He now had the power of two of the strongest clans, and it was overwhelming. After that, Tanya and Kanat started helping Ren train his magic. But no one expected the dragon teacher to be so strict. Ren was exhausted and out of breath. Still, he ended up learning how to control most of his magic. After they got paid at the guild, Ren took the two girls out to eat. But this time, it was Ren who was shocked. The two of them ate so much that even a rich man would struggle to pay for it. After the meal, Tanya asked Ren how he learned to tame beasts. Ren didn't think it was a very exciting story, but he told them anyway. He said he learned it back in his hometown, a village full of beast tamers. Both his parents were tamers too, so he naturally picked it up from a young age. Even the insect taming skill he showed Kanet was something taught to him by people in the village. It was a small, nameless village, but it used to be a good place. Sadly, it no longer existed. Hearing that, both girls felt bad for bringing up his painful past. But they still wanted to hear the whole story, so they could understand him better. At first, Ren was a little unsure, but since they were his teammates, he decided to share his past. It all started when Ren was 12 years old. That day, both his mom and dad were busy and couldn't watch him practice taming animals. So, he went to the training field at the edge of the village to practice by himself. Ren kept training until the sun began to set. As it got dark, he noticed the sky was still glowing red, which felt strange. Feeling uneasy, he ran as fast as he could back to the village. But by the time he got there, it was too late. The village was already burning after a monster attack, and Ren was the only one who survived. Some adventurers found the destroyed village and came to rescue him. After that, Ren went to live and work at an inn owned by someone who knew the adventurer that saved him. He lived quietly, doing his best every day. Things stayed like that until about 6 months ago, when he met Ariel's group. Ariel's group was looking for new teammates and invited him to join. Ren quickly agreed, thinking that if he became part of the heroes group, he might be able to help others and stop the same kind of tragedy from happening again. But things didn't turn out that way. In reality, Ariel's group only saw him as someone useful to them, not a real teammate. This made Ren feel like he was falling into a dark, painful place again. But then Kanet reached out and held his hand. She told him she thought he was a brave hero who always risked his life and tried his hardest. They understood Ren's pain and knew he wanted to be strong so no one else had to suffer like he did. They told him he wasn't weak or useless at all. Even Tanya was upset at how careless he had been, but deep down, both girls were proud to have someone like him as their leader. The next day, they accepted a new mission to defeat some orcs. It was an E-rank job, about as hard as fighting goblins. But orcs were a bit smarter because they could use weapons. Ren kept reminding the girls not to take the orcs lightly. Tanya, being a noble, was sure she wouldn't lose. But during the fight, Tanya got surprised when an orc almost grabbed her twice. Thankfully, Ren and Kanet showed up just in time to save her. Ren got slightly hurt, but he knew healing magic, so he was okay. Tanya, however, felt really bad and blamed herself for what happened. After finishing the mission, they gathered the loot and returned to the guild. When they came back out, Ren saw that Kanet looked down. He asked her what was wrong, and she said Tanya wasn't feeling well and had gone off alone. Tanya was standing on a bridge, feeling sad, when a little girl came by and asked what monster she had beaten that day. The girl worriedly asked if Tanya was hurt and told her to speak up if she was. That small act of kindness made Tanya feel a little better, and she started thinking about how Ren had also been worried about her. But she had ignored him, thinking too highly of herself because she was from a powerful clan. Now, she didn't know how to face him. Just then, Ren showed up, and she got flustered. She looked down and apologized for earlier. Tears were starting to come when Ren gently patted her head and smiled. He told her that Kanet had been worried about her too. Back at the inn, Tanya realized that Ren wasn't angry. In fact, he was scared something might have happened to her. He even gave up his bed for her. At that moment, Tanya realized she couldn't stop thinking about Ren. She decided she needed to be more careful with her feelings. The next day, they headed out on another mission. Tanya felt it was time to upgrade their gear. For nobles like her and Kanet, that was easy. But for someone like Ren, who was just an ordinary person, things were different. They were having a good time when suddenly Ren stopped in his tracks. Right in front of them was Ario's group. Ario's crew was walking casually, and when they saw Ren, they came over to say hi. Just seeing their faces annoyed Ren, so he turned and led Kanet and Tanya in another direction. But Ario, still shameless as ever, called out to him and asked why he was acting so cold. He even used a fake friendly tone and brought up their past as teammates, saying they had a lot of regrets. Seeing their master being treated that way, Kanet and Tanya stepped forward, looking cool and ready to protect him. Ario's group was shocked when they saw Ren was with two members of the strongest clans. They couldn't believe Ren could actually command people like that. Still, they invited him to help them explore the Lost Forest. Since Ren could control animals, getting through the forest or moving supplies would be super easy for him. But hearing that just made Ren angry. They had kicked him off the team before, and now they were asking him to carry their load like it was nothing. Their fake attitudes made Ren want to punch them. So he didn't even think twice, he said no and walked off with the girls. Suddenly, Mina called out to him. She tried to soften him up with a story about saving the world. She said that deep in the forest was a special shield they needed to defeat the demon lord. Without it, they wouldn't win, and monsters would take over the world. Strong people might survive, but normal people would suffer. This story hit Ren hard. It reminded him of a painful memory, his old village burning down. His heart started to waver, and in the end, his kindness won. Ren agreed to help Ario's group. But instead of being thankful, they looked down on him like they were trying to trick the girls into joining them. Kanat and Tanya didn't like it, but since Ren had made his choice, they followed. Still, they warned the group to apologize to Ren properly, even saying they should kneel and bow would be fair. Ario didn't like that at all. He shouted angrily, feeling humiliated. His group was proud and didn't think they had done anything wrong. Ario walked up to Ren, grabbed his collar, and yelled at him, saying he didn't know how to control his pets. Ren's face changed when he heard Kanat and Tanya being called that. Without a word, he punched Ario and knocked him out cold. Ren's eyes turned serious and scary as he warned everyone not to touch his teammates. Ario stood up and challenged Ren to a fight. Kanat and Tanya would handle the rest of the group while Ren fought Ario. The first battle was between August and the cat girl. She was furious and wanted to beat him until he apologized. Kanat rushed at him like a storm, almost too fast for him to block. August used his fireblade attack, which looked powerful, but then Kanat landed a kick that froze him on the spot. Seeing he had already used everything he had, Kanat decided to only use half her strength. August couldn't believe it. His hands and legs started shaking when he realized she was barely trying. Without warning, Kanat charged again and kicked him so hard he flew into a tree, bleeding. Meanwhile, Tanya was up against two of the weaker fighters. She snapped her fingers and instantly cancelled their magic. Their shocked faces made her laugh like it was a fun game. They tried combining their spells again, but with one more snap, their magic vanished, because it simply didn't work on her. Since they couldn't fight back, they started making fun of Tana's lizard-like body and attacked her. But every time they used magic, Tanya blocked it with ease. She did it again and again, until the two of them gave up and fell to the ground in front of her. Tanya didn't like picking on weak people, but since they had messed with her master, she felt they needed to learn what real magic was. Dark clouds started to cover the sky, and the two became terrified, thinking Tanya was going to finish them off. But she was only scaring them, so much that they nearly fainted. She didn't go further because she was afraid Ren would get mad at her, so she let them go. At the start of the fight, Arios had insulted Ren. But Ren didn't get mad, he just attacked. That's how the real fight began. Ren could tell he was facing a true hero and respected Arios' sword skills. But soon, Ren returned to his beast tamer style. His power came from his contract with Kanat and the training he'd done to read his opponent's moves. Ren had been watching Arios fight for a while. He learned how many steps he took to swing his sword, and how he moved when pretending to attack. Ren had figured out Arios' patterns, and every strike from Ren carried the strength of the two most powerful clans. If Ren got serious, Arios wouldn't stand a chance. So he told him to give up. But Arios was stubborn and refused. So Ren used a technique he'd learned from Count B to paralyze him, forcing Arios to admit defeat. Ren was still mad that Arios had insulted his team. After losing, Arios acted weak and tried to be friendly again. But Ren wasn't dumb enough to fall for it. He raised his fist and punched Arios. Luckily for Arios, Ren held back. If he hadn't, Arios could have died. At that moment, Kanat and Tanya showed up and ran straight to hug Ren. Then the three of them went into the lost forest to explore. But the place was wet and creepy. Tanya even wanted to burn the whole forest down, but Ren stopped her because lots of animals lived there. Ren thought deeply, if there really was a shield here, only a true hero could use it. He looked at the map that Ariel's group had made, but it was useless now. The forest had changed too much. Thinking about how Tanya scared Arios' group earlier, Ren felt more relaxed. Arios then shared some info. Deep inside the forest, a monster was guarding the Shield of Truth, a key weapon to beat the Demon Lord. Even though Arios was helping, he still acted proud and hadn't changed. Tamed scolded him for it. Ren gave him a light smack on the head, and both Arios and his friend instantly lost their strength. Tamed and Tanya felt like Ren shouldn't have to help people like them. Tina even thought about beating the Demon Lord by herself if she had to. Seeing they were worried about him, Ren gently patted their heads to calm them. He said everything would be okay. Then he summoned a bird and planned to merge with it, just like before, to scout the forest. Tamed and Tanya stayed behind to guard his body. While flying, Ren found a hidden path. It was narrow but seemed to lead to the deepest part of the forest. He came back to guide them there. But no matter how far they walked, they always ended up back at the place where they left a marker, which made all three of them frustrated. Tamed thought they just picked the wrong path. But Ren said he had followed a group of birds when flying. If it was just him getting lost, that would make sense, but for all of them to get lost the same way, that couldn't be right. Even Tenia agreed with Ren and thought something strange was going on in the forest. Then, Tenia created a magic circle and teleported them to where they needed to go. She had figured out that there was an illusion spell around the center of the tree, which is why they kept getting lost. After listening to Tanya explain everything, Tamed was completely shocked. Tanya told Tamed she had to cut down the tree because it was enchanted. Removing the tree would let them move forward. But Ren wondered if there was a way to break the magic barrier without destroying the tree. Tenia could sense how strong the barrier was. It wasn't impossible to break, but it would take a long time. As Tamed was getting ready to punch the tree, a voice suddenly told them to leave, which scared her. Then, a white-haired girl named Sora appeared from inside the tree. Ren quickly realized she was from the Spirit Clan. Like Tamed and Tanya, she belonged to one of the strongest clans, and her magic power was even greater than the Dragon Clan. But over 200 years ago, the Spirit Clan had hidden themselves from humans. To them, humans cutting down forests were like enemies. Because of this, fights started between the two sides, and the Spirit Clan disappeared into remote areas. Since then, they've hated humans. Ren tried to greet Sora, but she immediately told them to leave and even tried to attack them. This scared everyone, and they ran away. They were confused. Why did she attack them? The Spirit Clan was usually peaceful. Ren also thought it was strange that she appeared just as they were near the barrier. Even if they hated humans, why would they work with monsters? Before Ren could finish thinking, Tanya decided to go ahead. She would hold off the girl's magic while Tamed cut down the tree. As long as Tenia didn't defeat the girl, it would go as Ren wanted. But surprisingly, Ren still hoped to talk to the girl, which shocked the others. Still, they decided to support Ren's kind approach. When they came back, the girl was angry and chased them away again. Ignoring Ren's words, she quickly used magic to attack. Tamed and Tanya got ready to fight, but Ren stopped them. He believed he could handle the attack. As a beast tamer, he thought that if he faced her seriously, they could understand each other's feelings. Ren didn't get angry about the attack, which surprised the girl. Sora couldn't understand his actions and wondered if he was really human, since she was afraid he'd hurt her home like others had. Ren couldn't say he wasn't a bad person, but he really wanted her to believe he meant no harm. Sora stayed calm and wasn't swayed by his words. She fired another magic arrow at him, but this time, Tamed and Tanya stopped it. They both tried to explain that Ren wasn't a bad person. Hearing them argue, Sora thought all of them were strange, humans, Dragon Clan, and Spirit Cat Clan alike. She had never met people like them before. Finally, Sora agreed to sit and talk. After hearing Ren explain that they were trying to find the Shield of Truth to help the hero team but got stuck in the barrier, Sora explained that she created the barrier herself. She couldn't let them break it because it protected the Spirit Clan's village. She couldn't risk putting her people in danger. But Tenia said, "Aren't you just helping the monsters by doing this?" Sora replied that there was no Shield of Truth in this forest anymore. Deep in the forest, there was only one path, the one that led to the Spirit Clan's village. The Spirit Clan was the one guarding the real Shield of Truth. That's when the hero team realized they had been tricked. Sora added that if they really needed the shield to defeat the Demon Lord, she'd let them borrow it. Then she disappeared for a few moments and came back holding a large shield, her face completely blank, which shocked Ren. Even though she disliked humans, she hated monsters even more. She handed them the shield without a problem, and the three of them wanted to offer something in return. But Sora refused, saying the Spirit Clan had already made a deal with the previous heroes a long time ago. She was just honoring that promise. After they received the shield, the three thanked her and started heading back to the city. Watching them leave, Sora looked like she wanted to say something. Ren noticed and turned back to ask her. Sora hesitated, finding it hard to talk. If she said anything, Ren and the others might want to help her, and she didn't want to drag them into her own problems. So she stayed quiet, but Ren interrupted her. He said that even if it was dangerous, they didn't care. Tia and Kanet also spoke up and promised to help her no matter what. Realizing she could trust them, Sora finally opened up. She told them she had a twin sister named Rena. Rena was very different from her, but they got along well. The two of them were in charge of guarding the barrier that hid the Spirit Clan village. The job could be boring, but as long as they were together, Sora felt happy. But one day, their group had to leave the barrier for something important. That's when they met a monster calling himself the Demon Lord. They tried to run, but he caught them, and they had to fight. Not only could they not beat him, but Rena got captured. The monster's name was the Dark Knight. He was a C-rank monster. Normally, that wouldn't be too strong for the Spirit Clan, but this guy was tricky. He could cancel magic attacks, so only physical attacks worked on him. The Spirit Clan mostly used magic, so they were at a huge disadvantage. Sora said the Dark Knight's goal was to wipe out the strongest clans. He told her that if she wanted to save Rena, she'd have to take down the barrier. But Sora couldn't agree to that, it would put the entire village in danger. She couldn't do anything alone, so she asked the village chief for help. But he told her to give up on Rena because leaving the barrier had been their mistake. Even Tenia thought the chief was being too harsh. Now, Sora didn't know if she should save her sister or protect the whole village. It made her feel helpless and broken. Seeing her that sad, Ren promised to help rescue Rena. The little girl was so thankful, she cried loudly while hugging him. The Dark Knight had given Sora until sunset to remove the barrier. If she didn't, her sister would be in danger. So Ren's team rushed to find him. Sora said she really wanted to go, but Ren told her to stay behind. If she came, the Dark Knight might think she betrayed him and hurt Rena. That night, they finally saw the Dark Knight, with Rena tied up high above. The three of them jumped into action and charged at him. They used magic to distract him while Kanet ran up and hit him in the head. Then Ren punched him right in the stomach. Even after taking all those hits, that guy still wasn't beaten. The Dark Knight thought Ren was a hero and realized that Sora had asked them for help. That made him angry because he felt betrayed. He immediately went after Rana, but Tanya used her dragon wings to block the attack just in time. Tanya untied the little girl and saved her, leaving the rest to Ren and Kanet. The furious knight started using his powerful attacks. Right away, Ren figured out that the reason the knight could sneak into the Spirit Clan village alone was because he had power from the Demon Lord. Ren knew that if this kept going, the whole forest might be destroyed. So, he told Kanet to stop the knight's movements and use all her strength to punch him. Kanet was worried that even with her bull-like power, one punch might not be enough. But she still followed Ren's orders. At the same time, Ren focused on forming a temporary contract to call the Count Bees again. Even though he knew the bees couldn't paralyze the knight, they could at least distract him and give Kanet a better chance to land her punch. Ren also used a strengthening spell on Kanet to make her power even stronger. Just like he planned, Kanet's punch made the Dark Knight disappear instantly. She was really happy with the boost Ren gave her. He explained that it was a special magic skill used by beast tamers. It boosts someone's natural strength for a short time. Before, Ren didn't have enough magic to use it, but now, thanks to Tania's magic power, he could do it. Just then, Tina showed up holding Rena safely in her arms. She was surprised because the strengthening magic was thought to be lost. And yet, Ren had learned it too. Ren just scratched his head and said it just came naturally to him. Everyone was really happy about how things turned out. The noise woke little Rena up, and the two sisters, Sora and Rena, were finally reunited. Sora was very thankful. Without Ren's group, who knows what kind of horrible things Rena might have gone through. But those were just Ren's thoughts. The sisters quickly went back to their usual ways, arguing and disagreeing with each other. Ren noticed that even though they looked the same, their personalities were totally different. It seemed like the sisters didn't want to stay in the village anymore. Sora didn't want to live with people who tried to leave her sister behind. They also wanted to explore the outside world instead of being stuck in the forest. After hearing that, Tamed invited them to join Ren's team for fun. Tanya didn't mind. Ren was a bit unsure, though. He worried that the sisters might feel uncomfortable joining a team made up of humans. But Sora reminded him that he said humans could be both good and bad. She didn't know what other humans were like, but because it was Ren, she also wanted to go on an adventure. Hearing them say that made Ren happy to welcome them. Then the sisters asked to form a contract with him, just like Tamed and Tanya had. Ren knew taming the spirit clan would be hard because every race has a different nature. He could use the basic taming method, but for the spirit clan, it was more complex. It felt like a challenge. Still, Ren began the contract magic to bond with both Sora and Rena at the same time. He succeeded, but it used up a lot of energy, since the spirit clan was one of the strongest groups. Ren got tired and collapsed. Thankfully, the two sisters caught him before he hit the ground. Seeing that, Tamed and Tanya felt a little jealous. After the mission was done, Ren went to the hero group. He raised the shield of truth, and everyone was shocked. Arios was still bitter, since Ren beat the challenge in just 2 days, while they had tried for a whole week and still failed. He even thought it had to be fake. Ren didn't say anything and just let them check for themselves. Mina started using magic to test the shield and proved it was completely real, though Arios still didn't believe it. Then Arios happened to glance at 2 unfamiliar faces and got curious. Ren stood in front of him and told him to ignore them. Luckily, Ren had already told the 2 to hide their wings, because if people found out that members of the spirit clan were in a human village, it would cause a huge scene. Right after that, Ren asked them to pay up. Once they confirmed the job was done, Ren quietly promised himself that he wouldn't deal with this group again. But then August suddenly called out to him and asked if he wanted to rejoin the team. That made Arios angry, and he scolded August for even saying that. August said they should all think about it together. After everything that happened, it was clear Ren's help was important. Everyone thought about it for a moment, and no one disagreed. Then August went to Ren and told him they'd improve his pay and how he was treated, and even said they wanted him to be part of their adventures again. August told Ren not to think about the past, which made Ren pause. It felt like they hadn't changed at all. Ren thought to himself how foolish he'd been. Then Taned's group came out and comforted him. She held out her hand and said they were waiting for him. When Ren looked like he might say no, August tried to convince him by saying that if he defeated the Demon Lord, he'd gain status, fame, and a huge reward. But Ren didn't care about any of that. What he wanted was real teammates, but these people still weren't that. Now, he already had what he had been looking for all along. Ariel's group, after failing to convince him, just ended up upset and started cursing. Only Arios sat quietly, remembering his fight with Ren. The pain he felt wasn't just physical, it was also the shame of being beaten. He couldn't believe that someone like Ren could defeat a hero like him. Arios couldn't let it go and swore he'd take Ren down with his own hands. Meanwhile, others were wondering why only heroes were able to defeat the Demon Lord. Ren explained that, according to legend, the Demon Lord once ruled over humans with so much power that they couldn't fight back. The very first hero made a contract with the gods, received their blood, and defeated the Demon Lord, bringing peace to the world. They all thought that the first hero was way more amazing than the heroes of today, it was like night and day. That's why only heroes, who have the gods' blood, can keep growing stronger and build up enough power to beat the Demon Lord. But Tamed didn't think someone as weak as Arios could really do that. And as Sora thought about it, she realized that Ren seemed like a hero too. He had made contracts with the 3 strongest clans and could use their special powers. He had already gone beyond normal human limits. Wasn't that the same as becoming a hero? Tamed agreed. If Ren kept making contracts with powerful clans and grew stronger, maybe he really could defeat the Demon Lord. Ren felt confused hearing them talk like that. It was true, back when he was still on the hero team, that had been his goal. But after being kicked out, that dream had faded. Now, after meeting Ariel's group, he had found happiness. But honestly, if he had the chance, he might want to try fighting again. Still, defeating the Demon Lord wasn't like doing normal missions, it would risk a lot of human lives. That's why he didn't feel ready just yet. He still couldn't make a decision that quickly, because he knew that he only got this far thanks to everyone's support. But either way, it was already too late. So Ren thought about it for a moment and decided to answer them later. He also felt like this might be the moment where he started to choose his own path, and it was getting closer. Early in the morning, Ren woke up when someone threw a cloth in his face. That day, his whole group sat together for breakfast. They talked about how Ren had gotten stronger after making contracts with the two sisters, Sora. Thanks to the payment from Ario's commission, Ren also gave everyone a nice meal. He then decided to go buy some new gear in town. On the way, the two sisters, Sora, held tightly onto Ren's arms because they were worried someone might find out they were from the Spirit Clan. While staying alert, the younger girls got scared when Tanya's underlings showed up looking for her. These were the same two guys Tanya had beaten up in Stainbridge, breaking their noses. Hearing them compliment her made big sister Tanya feel proud. Meanwhile, Kanet was chatting with a fruit seller on the side of the road. The seller gave her an apple as thanks for helping carry things earlier. Seeing Kanet and Tanya fitting in with humans surprised the two spirit sisters. Suddenly, a group of human children appeared and startled them. One kid teased Ren, saying, "Did you bring home more wives?" Which made the two sisters really shy. Being called cute by the kids made Sora even more embarrassed. But Ren just laughed loudly and almost scared them for fun, which nearly exposed the girl's secret. Luckily, Ren and Sora stopped him in time. Sora reminded Rina that if she used magic, their spirit clan wings might show, and that would be a big problem if humans saw. Finally, they reached the town's #1 weapon shop. The owner was a grumpy dwarf, and Kanet was nervous around him because he seemed so strict. But Tina just thought dwarves were weird. The owner gave her a sharp look after that, which made Kanet even more scared. Nearby, Rina found a whip and got curious. She figured beast tamers should use something like that. After all, it's for punishing creatures that don't listen. Her dark thoughts made Sora really nervous. Ren, on the other hand, quickly picked a sharp knife that felt just right in his hand. He had a strange feeling about it, even though it didn't look special. Just then, a tall, strong man came in, threw a pile of money at the owner, and asked for the most expensive sword. The owner went to grab the smallest longsword to sell him. Ren asked the owner if he was hiding something. The swords didn't look like the best ones, just by how they appeared. Everyone went quiet for a moment. Then the owner smiled and said Ren had a good eye. Just like the knife, all of the items here were weapons he made in his free time. In other words, he was charging more than they were worth. Seeing this, the sister Sora started to change her opinion about the dwarf. He got annoyed with the group's comments, so he showed off his private collection of weapons. Ren wondered how someone who could make such amazing items would still trick his customers. But the shop owner said it was just a small test. These days, most customers just threw money around, without thinking about what fit them best. The weapons he made with care were often tossed aside once something newer came along. That really frustrated him. To a blacksmith like him, those weapons were like his children. Suddenly, Tanya showed up and ran to the owner, saying she totally understood how he felt. That made the owner really happy. After talking for a while, the dwarf started to like Ren quite a bit. So, he agreed to make a special high-quality weapon just for him. But there was one condition: he didn't have the materials. Just as everyone was listening with excitement, they suddenly froze. Later, Ren and his group returned to the guild. Seeing a big, lively crowd, Kane ran to ask Sister Natalie what was going on and found out that the hero Arios was staying there to recruit support members to defeat the Demon Lord. When he heard this, Ren's expression turned serious. But he didn't want Kane and Tanya to worry about him, so he patted their heads and said he was fine. At that moment, Natalie noticed the two Spirit Clan sisters and said hello. Sora hid behind Ren and quietly introduced herself, while Rina confidently stood up and said her full name. When Natalie asked about their relationship, Rena gave a dark answer, which made Natalie think that Ren had done something inappropriate. Ren quickly explained the misunderstanding. After that, he gave Natalie a commission request to approve. The request was to investigate the Midran mine for Mr. Gans, the weapon shop owner. Tanya said that weapons made from Midden were so good they could last a lifetime. It was rare, but Mr. Gans had inherited the mine from his ancestors, so he usually had plenty of it. But lately, there had been no sign of Midden at all. Ren didn't think the mine had run out, because normally if it was running low, the amount would slowly decrease. Since it disappeared suddenly, he thought something strange must be going on in the mine. Even without him saying anything, Kane and Tanya already knew what he wanted to do. So Ren suggested to the owner that they check out the mine. When Mr. Gans saw Ren's passionate and determined eyes, he agreed. When Mr. Gans mentioned payment, Ren said he didn't want money, he only wanted to keep the weapon he made. The owner was surprised but happily agreed. After that, the group headed out. The path to the mine wasn't far, so the walk felt like a picnic. But behind them, Rena was completely worn out, gasping, dizzy, and staggering around like she was about to faint. Eventually, she and Sora couldn't take it anymore and collapsed like melting ice. They stopped to rest, saying it was too hot. Luckily, there was a cool lake up ahead. Since the water was perfect for soaking, the girls begged Ren to let them bathe. Before Ren could even finish talking, Kane had already taken off all her clothes. Luckily, Tanya stopped her just in time. To stay safe, Ren had made a temporary contract with a squirrel so it would alert Kane's group if any danger came. Meanwhile, Ren lay down for a short nap. While the sisters were in the water, the two younger ones kept spreading their legs. When Kane and Tanya asked why, they said they wanted to know how to get big breasts like theirs. Kane and Tanya told them not to worry, they would grow eventually. They were all laughing and playing around when something in the water startled Kane, and she screamed loudly. Ren jumped up from his sleep and ran toward them to see what happened. But it turned out that Rena had just dipped her hand into the water to scare Kane with a fish. When Ren arrived, everyone was surprised, and he quickly turned away in embarrassment. He had to apologize in front of the sisters. But instead of being mad, Kane and Tanya were touched that he came running because he heard them scream. Ren was forgiven and felt happy again. Finally, after everything, they arrived at the Midran mine. They found a place to hide and watch. Ren believed there was illegal mining going on, and the way the birds flew in the sky looked like they were sending signals to someone. Just as he thought, the illegal miners noticed someone was nearby and came out aggressively. Ren felt like they had no choice but to step in and face the enemies. So, he told the sisters not to go too hard on them. But because they held back, all the enemies passed out, which meant Ren couldn't ask them any questions. Suddenly, Sora said she could use magic to look into their memories. The two sisters used magic and saw that Ren had been right. One of the girls saw images showing the men were illegally mining, and they were also adventurers. After helping Ren, the sisters asked for head pats, just like Kanet and Tanya usually got as rewards. Ren had no choice but to give in and pat their heads, which made them super happy. This time, they planned to sneak into the mine. Ren told them to be mentally ready in case their cover was blown, since the enemy was watching them from above. He figured the enemy had a beast tamer on their side. As soon as they got inside the mine, a fireball flew at them. Luckily, the sisters, Sora and Rena, were in front and blocked it. The sisters wanted to finish things fast so Ren would pat their heads again. Tanya and Kanet also jumped in to help. Ren took care of the last person. That guy was illegally mining but refused to give up. He even pulled a knife to stab Ren, but Ren knocked him down. Still refusing to surrender, the man summoned a rank B monster, a behemoth. Tania's group realized he was a beast tamer. Normally, taming monsters takes a lot of skill and magic. The man said he had raised the behemoth since it was born, so it wouldn't attack him. The behemoth followed his command and rushed at Ren. Its power was huge, and they were afraid the mine might collapse. While fighting, Ren signaled for the others to get the rest of the people out safely. Tanya stayed outside to guard them, and Kanet went back in to help Ren. Ren asked Kanet to deal with the man while he focused on the behemoth, which was only attacking because of the man's orders. To stop it, they had to take down the man first. The behemoth's attacks were strong, but simple. Ren figured out its attack pattern, so it couldn't hit him anymore. Still, if they didn't end it soon, the mine could fall apart. Tamed finally managed to silence the man. At that moment, Ren thought of a way to beat the behemoth, but he wasn't sure he could pull it off. Luckily, Taned's words from earlier echoed in his mind, giving him the courage to believe in himself and not let the others down. Ren ended up taming the behemoth and taking control. He had taken over the man's connection to it. Normally, it's impossible to take a beast tamer's monster. But Ren thought, if he was as strong as everyone said, maybe he could do it. The man couldn't believe he had lost control of the behemoth. He tried to force commands into it to power it up, but instead, it attacked him. Just in time, Ren used a fireball to knock the behemoth out and stop it. The man still didn't understand why he failed. Ren explained that even with taming, monsters and humans still have tension. The behemoth reacted to his bad intentions, which made it go wild. So, Ren had to hold it back to calm it. Afterward, they learned something about the group involved in the illegal mining. They all had one thing in common. They had bought weapons from Mr. Gans, which turned out to be fake weapons he had made during his idle days. When they found out, they thought about getting revenge by stealing weapons from Midden Forge. When Mr. Gans heard about it, he felt troubled. He also felt guilty for using unfair tricks on both the customers and the weapons, just to test them. Ren didn't argue and agreed with the owner's disappointment. He placed his hand on Mr. Gans' shoulder and told him to just fix it. Ren believed everyone makes mistakes, it's just important to learn from them and do better. He told Mr. Gans to put his heart into making each weapon like before, and everything would turn out fine. Even though Mr. Gans was much older, he accepted the advice from a child and wasn't upset. He decided to make a positive change. To start, Mr. Gans said he would craft a weapon for Ren. When Ren heard this, he quietly told the owner he wanted the weapon made based on his own design. They whispered together, which made Taned's group very curious. At the same time, Ariel's group was busy trying to find more people to join their team, but no one met their standards. One beast tamer applied, but he could only control one animal and couldn't even fight, so Arios turned him down right away. The tamer was confused when Arios asked if he could control the strongest clan, because no human beast tamer could ever do that. After turning away the last person, Arios looked bored and tired. Mina felt that not just the beast tamer, but others who came to try out actually had enough skills to be support members. But Arios didn't like anyone and kept comparing them all to Ren. Mina started to worry that if this kept up, they wouldn't be able to move forward with their journey, and defeating the Demon Lord would remain out of reach. So she tried to tell Arios that his standards were too high, but he just shut her down. Since Ren was gone, Arios was clearly taking out his frustration on her. Even though Mina didn't like how things were going, she kept quiet and stayed strong, because she believed it was her duty as a servant of the gods. After that, Arios told her to go rest. Before she left, she told him not to worry too much because his main mission was to save the world. But Arios didn't see it that way. His first goal was to get rid of Ren no matter what. The next day, Ren went to the guild to ask what happened to the people who illegally mined from Mr. Gans' land. Natalie told him they had their adventurer status taken away and were forced to do hard labor. Since illegal mining and monster raising were serious crimes, she thought the punishment was fair. Ren left with a sad face and told the two sisters, Sora and Rina, what happened. Then he took them to the food market and bought them 2 tasty hot dogs. They ate them really fast and instantly regretted it because they were too good. After that, Rina asked Ren what new powers he got after forming a contract with them. They already knew he had physical strength from Tamed and magic boosts from Tanya. So they were curious what had changed after their contract. The two girls really wanted an answer, but even Ren wasn't sure if anything had changed. His cold reply made them nervous and confused. They were sure Ren had gained the ultimate magic from their clan. That's a secret power far stronger than high-class or super-class magic, and only their spirit clan could use it. Even though Sora's group hadn't managed to use it themselves, they hoped Ren could. But the more they talked, the less Ren understood. This made the girls feel sad. They expected more from the contract, but nothing happened like it did with their senior sisters. They even started calling themselves failed familiars, which left Ren unsure of what to say or do. So, he gently patted their heads to comfort them, telling them not to be sad or blame themselves. They wondered why Ren trusted them so much. After all, they were people who had been rejected by their village and gone through tough times. But Ren felt different. Even though he already had strong allies, he still wanted them with him. So Ren sat down and explained everything clearly. He even shared his sad past, how he used to have no confidence, always trying to be helpful, but still ended up being cast out. That experience taught him how important it is to build trust with his teammates. He wanted Sora and Rina to be his teammates too, even without any contract. After hearing his story, the two girls felt more hopeful and motivated, which made Ren feel relieved. While they were walking, they ran into a blonde troublemaker. His words scared the sisters at first. They thought something serious was going on, but he was just a flirt trying to make them his women. That made the girls look down on him in disgust. This guy had just walked out and spotted the two girls on the street. Sora turned pale, scared that a stranger would say something like that. Rina, standing next to her, started yelling at him, calling him an idiot. The more they acted like that, the more amused he became. His name was Aga Frogware, the son of the lord who ruled Horizon City. He kept trying to persuade them, but the girls refused, so he tried to use force. He thought bringing more men would work, but Ren defeated them all in just a few hits. Still, Aga wouldn't stop. He wanted the girls no matter what. So he used the townspeople as bait, threatening to hurt them if Ren didn't hand over the sisters. Aga only saw people as tools, so he didn't care what happened to them. Ren could see the positions of the enemies in his mind. But if he saved one group, others would be hurt. He wasn't sure what to do. The sisters wanted to help, but Ren was afraid that if they used their magic, people would find out they were from the Spirit Clan. Then they might not be able to live freely in the city anymore. Ren couldn't stand the idea of the girls losing their happiness. So, he had to come up with a risky plan. He suddenly got an idea. He used continuous chanting to cast a fireball spell. This was a special move only the Spirit Clan knew. As soon as he did it, Sora and Rina recognized it right away. That power scared the enemy, and they backed off. Sora's group later came to thank Ren for protecting them. Some people in the town even started to admire him as a beast tamer. An old woman suddenly warned them to get out of the city quickly, which surprised them. Somewhere nearby, Ren didn't notice that Arios was secretly watching him. When they got back home, the sisters excitedly told Kanat and Tanya about Ren's new Spirit Clan skill. Ren also felt proud. With this chanting spell, his power and accuracy had improved more than even his special training, thanks to the contract he made with them. The Runa sisters could now hold their heads high because they were great familiars too, just like Kanat's group. Luckily, everyone was safe. Satanya and Kanat could finally relax a bit. But Ren heard rumors in the city about himself. People said he was worse than they thought. They said he kidnapped and locked up women he liked and abused them. The Lord covered up everything because Aga was his only son. So any evidence of Aga's crimes always disappeared quickly. Tina, with her short temper, even wanted to go burn down the Lord's mansion right away. She figured Aga would come after Sora's group, Ren, or even the townspeople next. Quietly, Ren thought to himself, now that he had seen the dark side of the city, he wanted to save everyone even more. But the only thing holding him back was that he was just a beast tamer, not a brave hero. At that moment, seeing him deep in thought, Kanat and Tanya already understood what he was thinking. They knew that even though he wanted to save everyone, he was worried about facing such a powerful enemy. That's why he was stuck choosing between his friends and the people in the city. They told him that it wasn't just him, both of them also wanted to protect the city. Knowing they had his back gave Ren the strength to go save the city together. Meanwhile, Ego was telling his soldiers to hide the damage that had happened earlier that day. He also told them to find Ren and bring him in, because he was furious after the embarrassing defeat Ren had given him. He couldn't let it go. In his anger, Ego even brought in a young girl who looked like a beast person and kept torturing her non-stop. On Ren's side, he and Kanat went to the Night Squadron to report the damage. When they asked for an investigation into Ego's violent actions, the woman they talked to suddenly looked terrified. She stuttered and didn't know what to say. Then a few soldiers came forward and spoke to Ren. They said it was just a small issue and didn't deserve an investigation. On top of that, they mocked Ren and warned him not to ruin Lord Ego's reputation or he might get in trouble. It was clear they didn't want to help. So Ren left, knowing they were covering for Ego and even if there was an investigation, they would never find proof. Suddenly, Tamed noticed someone was watching them. It was a female knight named Stella. She was misunderstood as spying on them, so she bowed her head in apology. Ren was surprised, he didn't expect a proud knight to bow like that. Stella was a knight and the deputy of the Horizon Knight Squadron branch. Before they could even say anything, she thanked them. She had heard about an adventurer and a girl from the Spirit Cat clan who had taken down the Black Fang gang. Even she, as a knight, couldn't do that. She really wanted to go after the crimes committed by the Lord's group and asked to team up with Ren's group. Because the knights were working with the Lord's group, they had forgotten their real duties. Instead of protecting the people, they just partied and covered up crimes committed by the Lord and his son. Some of them even looked down on the very people they were supposed to protect. Their leader, Captain Juliet, was like that too. Stella really wanted to help bring the Knight Squadron back to its original purpose. When she saw Ren and Tamed standing up to Ego's crimes, it gave her a spark of hope, like maybe things could change. She begged Ren to lend her his strength to help her achieve that goal. Ren was suspicious at first, he thought maybe it was a trap. But Tamed told him Stella didn't give off any bad feeling, so he believed she was honest. Based on that, Ren agreed to work with her. Stella asked why Ren wanted to go against the Lord's son. When he told her it was just because he saw something wrong and had to speak up, she burst out laughing. Not to make fun of him, but because he answered so seriously, and she liked that about him. Her emotions got the better of her and she started to cry. To comfort her, Ren shook her hand to show his support. Their first step was to clean up the Knight Squadron. They would start by setting a trap, spreading a rumor that there was proof of Captain Juliet working with the Lord hidden in a warehouse outside the city. Juliet didn't believe the rumor at first, but he also knew that if it turned out to be true, it would destroy them. So he moved quickly, hoping to outsmart the younger knights who still believed in the ideal dream of knighthood. Juliet gave the order to begin the operation. Unexpectedly, when they went in, they were stopped by Sora and Runner's group. Inside the warehouse, Ren used a weapon he had just bought from the dwarf shop owner. It was a special weapon that helped him hit every shot perfectly. He saved the last shot for Juliet, but she noticed and dodged it. Juliet was shocked when she saw who it was. Stella didn't hide either. She told him that her team was already taking down the whole Knight Squadron branch and they had proof of his crimes. When Juliet heard Stella say Ren's name, it was like he woke up. He raised his sword, ready to take Ren down and turn him into Lord Aga. Stella got angry and wanted to stop him herself. Juliet warned her she could be executed for betrayal, then rushed to fight her. Even though Stella wasn't strong enough, she wasn't scared. She stood back up and kept fighting. She stabbed hard with her knife, making him fall. Meanwhile, Aga was torturing a little girl because she had told him that Juliet's team got caught. Stella had now taken control of the Knight Squadron. Even though Aga was about to be cornered, he stayed calm. He still had some troops at home and thought that was enough. Just then, he heard a voice by the window. It was Arios, who was in disguise. Arios offered to team up with him to fight Ren. When Aga heard that Ren could lead the strongest clan and take all his power, fame, money, and women, he got really angry. Arios gave him a magic ring and told him to use it to defeat Ren. Aga's anger and hate made the ring even more powerful, which made Arios very pleased. Stella, who had been promoted to captain of the Knight Squadron, started an investigation. She led her team to the mansion to demand an urgent check on the Lord. She also said that Juliet, the former captain, had been arrested for taking bribes. But the request was rejected and a group of soldiers was sent to block them. So Stella's team put on their armor, ready to fight. This time, they had help from two beautiful girls, Tamed and Tanya, who were already inside the mansion. Aga watched them fighting from inside and laughed. He also saw the two strongest clans that Ren led coming in. Aga planned to use the ring to break their contracts, so they'd stop fighting for Ren and follow him instead. Meanwhile, Ren made a distraction and snuck into the mansion. His mission was to rescue the hostages. But Rina was too loud, and Sora and Ren were worried that Aga might hear and kill them. After that, Rina and Sora used search magic. When they found people, they used teleportation to move them to safety. This gave Kanet's team, who were making the distraction, the chance to use their full power. Then they would catch the Lord and his son, gather proof of their crimes, and win the fight. At the same time, Ra felt something strange. If only humans were inside, the basement shouldn't have that much magic energy. But Ra sensed a huge power that wasn't human. It felt just as strong as the sisters. Ren thought it might be one of the strongest clans, but didn't understand why one would be there. So he left Sora and Rina to keep looking while he went to check it out himself. In a fight like this, ignoring someone that powerful could be dangerous. Sora and Rina were worried about Ren going alone because the magic power was as strong as theirs. But they stayed behind after Ren patted their heads to calm them down. Ren also felt bad because saving everyone had revealed the true identities of the two. Rina stood up and told him that if he didn't come back safely, she'd punish him by making him pat them 100 times. Ren started investigating. He happened to suspect this room, so he went inside. It was surprising, there was a strong steel cage in the room, and inside was someone who looked like a fox with 3 tails. He knew right away, she was from one of the strongest clans, the God clan. He quickly broke the lock and rushed in to help the little girl, which scared her a lot. The girl's name was Nina. When she heard Ren say he was a friend, she got emotional and hugged him tightly. Nina was part of the God clan, one of the most powerful clans. She used to live happily in her village. Every day, she would sleep peacefully and be surrounded by kind villagers who loved her, until one day, Iga showed up and changed her life forever. He made her a prisoner and said the villagers would be punished if she didn't obey him. Nina was shy and followed his orders. She was forced to wear a magic slave collar. After that, Iga tortured her just to satisfy his sick desires. She had to suffer all the pain alone, which made her very scared. Ren wanted to save her, but she said the collar had very strong magic. Ren told her to trust him. So, Nina sat still and waited for him to help her. Ren tried to use his power to take control of the collar's magic again, but it was too strong and hurt him badly. Seeing him in pain, Nina blamed herself even more. Suddenly, Ren remembered he didn't just have his own power, he also carried the strength of Kanet, Tanya, and the sisters Sora and Rina. He gathered all their powers together and cast a spell, finally breaking the collar and freeing Nina. Meanwhile, outside the city, a fierce battle was happening with the soldiers. Since they couldn't win against Kanet's group, the enemies took hostages from the basement as a trap. But at the same time, Sora and Ra had just finished handling the rest and got all the hostages to safety. With the outside handled, Stella rushed into the mansion to capture the father and son lords. Inside the mansion, the lord realized things were falling apart and ran to warn his son. Iga told his father to escape first, he'd stay and destroy the proof of their crimes. When everyone entered the mansion, Ren had just rescued Nina. They were surprised to see another member of one of the strongest clans. They scolded Ren again for getting involved with girls. Ren didn't know how to respond, it seemed girls always ended up around him. Sora thought it was strange too, people from the God clan were usually worshipped by humans and didn't often appear in front of them. But Nina was here now. Kanet looked very interested in Nina's soft fur. Even though she was shy, she still listened quietly. Stella came in and thanked Ren. Because of him, she was able to complete her mission. Around that time, the Lord was trying to escape with some items but found everyone already waiting in the hall. Ren used his weapon to shoot a rope and tie him up. Suddenly, Iga ran out and used death magic from a ring, hitting Ren with a deadly spell. On the rooftop, Arios was happy, he thought his plan had worked. But he didn't expect Ren to be completely unaffected. That worried them. The magic Iga used was a top-level spell meant to kill instantly, the Grim Reaper's curse. But Ren didn't feel a thing. Kanet's group admired Ren even more, knowing he could survive even deadly magic. But Rina seemed to be thinking and called for someone to spray poison smoke on Ren's body. Sora, seeing this, scolded her little sister for being too reckless. Because in this world, how could a familiar ever use poison magic on their own master? Rina had always wondered why, when Ren made a contract with the sisters, he only got one skill. That didn't seem fair. But earlier, she guessed that the skill he received was the ability to block any abnormal effects. That's why the poison didn't work on him. Now her curiosity was finally satisfied, and she also learned about Ren's new skill. Sora was really upset that Rina had tested this on Ren without telling her. The two sisters arguing made little Nina scared and shaking. Up on the platform, Iga looked very disappointed and couldn't believe he had lost. Just like Ariel said, Ren would take everything from him. That anger made the power in Iga's ring grow stronger. A strange magic started spreading through Iga's body, and it smelled terrible. That purple thing swallowed Iga and brought back the demon race. It was that same power that had ruined Ren's childhood. The demon that returned seemed very interested in the situation. But since there weren't many people there, it flew off into the city to attack civilians. Ren realized this was bad. He didn't want the townspeople to get hurt. But when he looked back, he saw his true teammates waiting for him. They understood each other without saying much, and Ren began forming a plan. He told Stella to protect the citizens and look after Nina. But then, Nina grabbed Ren's sleeve to show she wanted to help too. Ren knew Nina didn't like fighting, so he gently told her to just wait safely. Ren's group rushed into town to stop the demon. When Ren said he would defeat it, the demon laughed loudly, very amused by him. As soon as the demon showed a weak point, Kanet and Tanya attacked. Ren used a binding rope to distract the demon so the little squirrel could set up magic for a clean hit. But their attacks didn't seem to work. Seeing that it was 5 against 1, and Ren had allies from 4 powerful clans, the demon asked if he could call in more brothers to fight too. He summoned many monsters he called his cute servants. But to Kanet's group, they were just small fry. Still, they didn't expect the demon to summon monsters endlessly like that. Kanet charged forward to fight but got hit and thrown down by the demon's attack. Tanya, angry, used her dragon's breath against the demon. Meanwhile, Sora and Rina ran to heal Kanet. But Tania's dragon breath wasn't strong enough. She collapsed right there. The demon began using moves that destroyed all the houses around them. Ren's group kept casting magic spells to fight back. Ren then used power to boost both Kanet and Tanya. They both rushed in again, but even their attacks had no effect. The demon summoned even more monsters to trap Ren's team. Then he flew up into the sky, planning to destroy everything. Tanya quickly released another dragon's breath to hold him off. At that moment, Ren had a sudden idea. But if he used it, it might put the people in the city in danger. So Sora's team stepped up and offered to teleport all the citizens to safety so Ren's group could focus on fighting the demon. They told him not to worry about their identities being exposed. The people rescued from the mansion already knew who they were. After the plan was set, each group got to work. Meanwhile, Ario's hero group was still talking about whether they should help. They had heard that a demon appeared, and demons usually serve the demon lord. But Ario's refused to get involved, saying their real enemy was the demon lord, not these guys. Mina and August wanted to argue but stayed quiet because of Ariel. At the same time, Stella's army also joined the fight to protect the citizens. Stella didn't let them give up because their mission was to protect the people in the city. Sora and Rina came running, out of breath, with a request to help evacuate the citizens. After hearing the plan, Stella agreed right away and left with her soldiers, leaving Nina with Sora's group to protect. Kanet and Tanya were still working hard to help the citizens escape from the monsters. Their goal was to clear a path so the people could reach Sora's group's teleportation magic. But when the humans saw the Spirit Clan, who used to hate humans, they didn't trust them. They were scared the teleportation magic might be dangerous. At that moment, Sora and Rina looked sad. Then, the hot dog shop owner they knew saw them and walked over. He smiled and said he would go first through the magic circle. After that, a little girl they had met in town came and spoke to them. Some of the people they had saved also stepped into the circle safely. The two sisters began using magic to move everyone to a safe place. Before everyone could be evacuated, a soldier warned that monsters were getting close. Rina gave her sister the job of using the magic, while she rushed forward to help. Kanet and Tanya were getting tired fighting so many monsters. Luckily, an adventurer group that Tanya had once trained showed up to help. Also, the Horizon Adventurer team came because they saw this as a special mission to support Ren's team. Right now, they were like knights, driving the monsters away from the city. Since Ariel's hero team didn't join the battle, Natalie thought this fight would be tough. Even Mr. Gans, the best weapon shop owner in the city, helped by giving out his special weapons, ones he had made with great care. Everyone worked together to protect Horizon City and make a path for Ren's group to keep going. Na, seeing the older fighters doing everything they could to protect each other, felt stronger inside. She had been scared of getting hurt or hurting someone else, but watching everyone give their best made her think differently. Ren was getting closer, but the demon still seemed far away. Tamed suggested that Tanya turn into a dragon and fly over, but Tanya couldn't do it. If she changed form, she wouldn't be able to use magic well, and she'd just become an easy target. Even Sora's teleportation magic wasn't enough. But Tanya remembered someone who could teleport perfectly, the God Clan, the strongest clan of all. Just then, Nina ran up to Ren and hugged him. When Tamed and Tanya saw her, they remembered something. The God Clan had a special power that no other strong clans had, the ability to control space and teleport instantly. Ren asked Nina if she could help. Even though she was shy, Nina agreed to lend her power. Tamed and Tanya stayed to fight the monsters while Ren and Nina moved closer to the demon. Ren used the armor from Mr. Gans to block attacks while getting closer. When the demon shot a huge magic ball at Ren, Nina teleported in front of him, confusing the demon. Ren built up his power and then suddenly teleported right in front of the demon, trying to take control of the monsters. The demon was shocked that a human could do that. When he asked who Ren was, Ren just smiled and said he was just a normal beast tamer. The angry demon broke Ren's magic circle and charged at him. But Ren ordered the demon's own monsters to attack him instead. The demon couldn't resist and slowly faded away. Even though he didn't expect it, the demon found Ren interesting and asked for his name before dying. Ren coldly refused. Once it was over, Nina beside him was also worn out and collapsed into the empty space. Luckily, Tanya caught them both just in time. Sunlight returned to Horizon City. After that, the city slowly went back to how it used to be, full of life. Stella was officially promoted to captain of the Night Squadron. Ren believed she could truly improve the team. She said the people involved in the corruption scandal were taken to the royal capital to be punished. Stella also investigated what happened in Little Nina's village. It turned out the villagers had left after Nina was taken. But Ren believed that as long as they were still alive, they'd reunite someday. Tamed was now very involved in helping rebuild the city, as if she had become a true Horizon citizen. And Tanya was still keeping it a secret that she belonged to the Dragon Clan, but it seemed everyone already knew. Sora and Rena were also adjusting well to life in the city. Sometimes, they visited the hot dog stand run by Ren's uncle to grab some snacks. Even though Ren saved everyone like a hero, he didn't think of himself that way. He saw himself as just a regular beast tamer. Tamed and the others always cited how humble he was. Nina, who had helped them in battle, wanted to be part of Ren's team like her sisters. Ren understood how she felt and welcomed her, but he wasn't sure. He had already made contracts with all the others. Making a new contract with Nina made him nervous. But seeing how everyone looked at him, he decided to take the chance. A few minutes later, he successfully made a contract with Nina. Right after that, Tamed and Tanya ran over and hugged the little beast girl tightly. Even Sora and Rena were super happy. They had always wanted a little sister like her. After that, Ren's team went to the guild and met Stella. They were curious why the Night Squadron captain was there. Stella explained that from now on, the Night Squadron and the Adventurers Guild would work together to keep the city safe. Everyone was excited to hear that things were heading in the right direction. Stella thanked everyone, saying that because of Ren's team, she had been able to bring the Night Squadron back to its original form. Then Natalie showed up with something to say. She took the chance to tell them the guild had decided to promote Ren to rank C adventurer. Ren felt like she was praising him too much since he had just reached rank E not long ago. But Natalie had a good reason for jumping him 2 ranks. She even thought about promoting him to rank A, which she believed he deserved. There was also a big money reward waiting for him. Feeling rich, Ren decided to treat everyone to a good meal. Natalie then noticed Nina as someone new. Ren introduced her as their newest teammate. Natalie couldn't help but hug the little girl. But when she looked closer, she realized Nina was from the God clan and got a bit nervous. She quietly asked Ren if Nina would be upset that she treated her like a child. When Nina said she wasn't bothered, Natalie hugged her again. Right after that, all the other girls also joined in to cuddle Nina together. After that, Ren started talking about the team because there were now too many members, and their rented room was getting too crowded. Hearing this, Natalie suggested that Ren should buy a house. She said the guild helped people find homes and even offered money to help with the cost, especially for strong adventurers who planned to stay in the city. Her serious look made Tenia feel like Natalie really didn't want them to leave the city. Ren asked everyone what they thought, and it looked like everyone agreed to stay in the city. Ren had saved a good amount of money, and now with the guild's help too, he decided to sign a contract to buy a house. After checking out many houses in the city, the girls couldn't find one they liked. Then Natalie showed them one last house. It was cozy and spacious, and they liked it right away. The house was made of wood and had a big yard, just like Kanet and Sora wanted. It also had more than 10 rooms with big beds, which Tanya had asked for, and a nice kitchen and bathtub that Rena and Nina wanted. Best of all, the furniture fit within Ren's budget. Tenia stood up and asked why Natalie didn't show them this great house first. Ren noticed something suspicious. Natalie flinched and took a step back. Everyone stared at her, so she had to tell the truth. A lady in white had been seen there. Kanet got scared when she heard that and hid behind Ren. Tenia was disappointed in her because Kanet came from the strongest clan but was still scared of ghosts. This time, she even had to be comforted by a tiny squirrel. Everyone held their breath, ready to listen to Natalie's story. She said that after taking naps, pillows would flip over by themselves. The hot bath water would turn cold. Sugar and salt would get switched at meals. Someone even put a rotten egg in their shoes. Leftover curry was smeared on clothes that were drying. After hearing this, Kanet was so scared her tail curled up. Even though the group didn't really want to stay in the house, they knew they'd regret passing it up. So Ren suggested they check it out first and then decide. Ren's group opened the door and went inside. The house was totally dark. Na sneezed, and Kanet immediately grabbed Tenia's tail out of fear. But the place didn't seem haunted, it looked clean, like someone was taking care of it. Then suddenly, tables, chairs, and things around them started shaking and moving on their own. A voice even shouted at them to get out. Kanet, who was already scared of ghosts, panicked and ran around. A woman in a maid outfit suddenly appeared and yelled at them to leave. Sora's group used magic to try to stop the ghost. But the woman showed up again, hanging upside down from the ceiling. The girls started talking about what spell to use, but they didn't want to destroy the house while dealing with the ghost. The ghost looked a little scared but kept trying to mess things up and scare them out. Tenia noticed that the ghost didn't know how to fight. They pointed out the ghost's weak points, which made her upset. But when the ghost saw someone who was clearly scared of her, she popped her head up from under the floor to scare Kanet, who then ran around in terror. But because she got so scared, Kanet's instincts kicked in. She scratched the ghost's clothes, making the ghost confused. Tanya realized that a physical body could hurt the ghost's soul. Kanet got even more worked up and started tearing things apart and biting the ghost's dress. Then she popped up suddenly, scaring the ghost back. Sora and Rena took this chance to use magic on the ceiling to trap the ghost so she couldn't escape. Kanet puffed up her fur, ready to charge, but Tanya grabbed her by the neck in midair like a wild cat. Ren then started talking to the ghost. The ghost thought about trying to take over Ren's body but failed. Ren had blocked her ability to teleport because when he was little, he heard a neighbor tell stories about ghosts and soul tamers. But he didn't tell her how he could control a ghost like her. He saw that this ghost still had more personality than most, so he figured she might listen to him. The ghost was about to fight back, but Ren quickly pinned her to the ground. She struggled like a fish out of water. Realizing she'd lost, she gave up and told him to do whatever he wanted. But instead of hurting her, Ren reached out for a handshake. That made her laugh, she thought he was a weird human. She introduced herself as Tina, a maid from another town who had logged out 30 years ago. Since then, she had wandered around as a ghost, unable to move on. Tanya asked why she became a ghost. Tina explained that her former master was a twisted man who hurt women. She was one of his victims. When she woke up, she was already a ghost. Since she had lost to Ren's team, she agreed to leave. Ren asked Tamed how she felt, and she said that even though she was scared, she'd probably be okay as long as she stayed with everyone. So Ren asked Tina if they could live there. Tina was surprised because she was planning to go, but Ren explained that thanks to her, they were able to buy the house at a low price. He suggested she stay too. Tamed just asked her not to fly through walls and scare them. Sora and Ray's group noticed she used to be a maid and thought she might be a great cook. They even wanted her to teach them how to cook. Everyone welcomed Tina warmly, and she agreed to stay. After that, Ren officially signed the papers to buy the house. Sister Natalie was amazed. Ren even managed to befriend a ghost, showing how special he was. Meanwhile, at the market, a fruit seller was working when Ario's hero group showed up. They asked the seller to pick food for them for a week, but didn't bring money and used their hero status to try to get it for free. The seller refused, saying he didn't have enough stock to just give away. When they kept pushing, bragging about being heroes, the seller got annoyed and scolded them. He said they hadn't done anything to help Horizon and were just full of themselves. Other vendors also refused to sell to them, and nearby people started mocking them too. Furious, Ario stormed off. Hearing people mention Ren only made his anger worse. Back with Ren, he had just gotten home from the market with Tamed. Tamed ran ahead and greeted him, which surprised him. That night, they had a housewarming party. The food was made by Rana, who learned from Tina. Rana proudly said she would handle the cooking now, not her sister. There was so much food that little Nina didn't know what to try first. Tamed and Tanya couldn't hold back and rushed to find their favorite meat dishes. That night, little Nina felt truly loved and cared for. She thanked Ren for helping her not feel alone anymore. Her words reminded Ren of his past, the day he lost everything. There had been an empty space in his heart. But now, things were different. They were all teammates. Seeing this, Tina deeply admired them. His old adventures with Ario's team never filled that emptiness. But becoming an adventurer, meeting everyone, and living freely finally gave him real warmth. Feeling emotional, Ren started to cry but laughed it off, saying he was just hungry. After that, everyone shared a housewarming meal to celebrate the new home. This is where the story ends of the beast tamer who got kicked out of the hero's team and met a group of girls from the strongest clan.